Good morning, everybody. Here we are again, behind the glass doors.
Glass doors.
It's that time of the week.
It is.
I just did it. We just noticed, by the way. I noticed, and I got thousands of emails last week from people.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
Saying that I say a lot on these podcasts. Yeah. So I've asked Chris to throw his coffee at me each time I do it. He's got a few spare cups.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and have less in my speaking.
And we were saying too, the funny thing about it is you never really notice you do something until you see yourself kind of
exactly
on camera.
Right.
So
yes,
this is also a learning tool for you to go through each one of the behind the glass doors and pay attention to all the things that you do wrong and how to correct those. So then when you're actually standing in front of somebody or you're having a conversation, you already are.
Not over-earning it.
No. Yeah, it's basically. You see your face with it.
No, it's spot on. So,
like I don't do.
I forgot what we talked about today. Now, we're going to have a chat today about your marketing and setting goals, and you know, when you're a business and you're trying to set your objectives and what you want to get out of a campaign.
Yeah. It's
important to go not even deep, but just to understand exactly what you want to get out. That determines what we're going to recommend to you.
Yeah.
You know, we've spoken on here before about our job as the digital advisors at PWD to when clients come to us and they want Google or they need social media or search engine optimization to really understand who your target market is and who your audience are and what kind of leads you want to get into. Like most people say, I want a high intent lead that's pretty much ready to go.
Yeah.
But that's not always the only thing you can do. Sometimes you've got to get a less quality lead and nurture that lead. There's different ways you can set your campaigns up. You know, for me, especially with Google AdWords, that's, to me, the best place, search engine marketing, of where you can get a high intent inquiry.
Right, yeah.
Our guys do thorough research on the search terms. But if you come to us and say, Chris, we want to get 1,000 leads, that's great.
Yeah.
We need to make sure there's enough search volume to get you 1,000 leads. And your budget with Google in that scenario is going to have to be appropriate to get you 1,000 leads. So, you know, sometimes those expectations and you need to be aligned with the reality of, you know, what you really want.
Well, that's really it. I think you have your search capability, which is high intent because people are looking directly for that. But then you have your awareness kind of advertising and marketing, which is more about getting that product or service in front of people.
Yes.
Where it's like, hey, we exist. We're here. This is what we do. It might be something where you're not actively searching for it at that moment, but that's kind of like a seed planter, which then now that's stuck in your mind where like, ooh, that's a really cool service or product. I'm going to keep that in mind. You might not be in the exact moment to be able to say I'm going to convert at that moment, but I think you get the right people in front of it. Now you have that awareness in front of them. They can now go make the next move.
Exactly right, and I think that's very much where social media plays a pivotal role, right? You huge message out there.
Yeah.
You can get lots of eyeballs on your advert for fairly cheap with Meta, with Facebook and Instagram and those platforms. But you're not going to have it's not going to be a scenario where someone sees your advert once promoting a new home, first home buyers.
Sure.
And go, right, definitely that's a great idea. I'm going to do it. I always feel people. Sometimes they want to go all in with social media, want to go all in with Google AdWords without really thinking what their goal is. And I guess that's the point of this conversation.
Well, I think, especially for home builders, I think the idea is to get people in that spot to be like, they want to know more. Now, they're not going to directly convert and buy a house from that home builder directly from that ad, but they want to know more. And that's the key. Because once you want to know more, then you get in front of the home builder side and they'll say, okay, well, we'll send you a floor plan or we'll send you more information. You're kind of you're in the mix now. So if they're looking at 3 or 4 builders trying to make a decision, you're kind of in already because you've shown them enough information or they've seen enough from a kind of a visual point of view to be like, oh, I like the look at that elevation. I like all the things you're saying. Your messaging is very clear to the point. I want to add you to my list of other builders that they obviously are looking at other builders at that point. Because obviously you're going to be doing your due diligence and you're going to be, doing research.
Yeah.
But the big thing is get them into the mix because now you're in. So now they're going to compare and contrast and they're going to say, okay, well, I really like this, but I really like that. And then that's when the builders, it's their job to make sure they're cultivating every possible lead with every possible nurturing event that you can.
Yeah.
We always say, like, if you are a home builder and you're putting out an ad set and people are responding to your ad set and they say, oh, please, more information, right? It's all about how you approach it. Like, we have people who do it really, really well, where they'll talk directly back to the lead, no matter what it is. It'll just be like, oh, I'd love a floor plan, please. And they'll respond.
Yeah.
And they'll say, you know, they'll be like a real person talking back to that person. And it makes such a difference. And then when they start getting their inquiries, if they start filling in like a lead form, I always say, just create a little video snippet of, like, you know, thank you for your inquiry. This is a little bit about our business. And because if you're the only one who kind of does it, and then all those other companies don't, that's going to stand out.
When you remember.
Right. That's going to stand out a lot, because they're taking that extra effort to nurture that particular lead. So it's not just about a lot of leads. So it's like, okay, I want as many people as possible, so then we can kind of call that to something more quality, and then call that, and then obviously there'll be the conversion rate.
Yeah.
But you really want every single person who has that opportunity to feel like they're being looked after.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, I say that thing very, you know, when we were looking at the ideas for the episode, but the idea that advertising doesn't work, and that's just that's like a double, not a double meaning, but it's something that obviously it's not something I believe, but I don't believe you can advertise anything to anybody. I think awareness and putting the right things in front of people is the only thing that works. Yeah. Because if most of the audience is switched on to the point where they can't be led by smoke and mirrors. They can't be led by, ooh, we're going to advertise to these people. People can't be advertised to anymore. No. Like, if you want the thing, you're going to get the thing. If you don't want the thing, I can advertise the best advertisement that ever existed, and you'll be like, I have no interest in what you're telling. Yeah, so
I don't want to. Yeah, you're right. It's got to be, you know, right time, right place, right message, and all those things play a big part. You know, I think for social media, as we're talking there, as a consumer, and I probably have, I say two, there's probably more than two, but two, I guess, distinct ways that I purchase or react to a social media ad.
Okay.
If it's an impulse one, and it's something, and an example being, there was an INXS tribute band I saw play, and I bought tickets straight away, because I wanted that's cool, something on the weekend, and so I responded, an impulse buy, I guess you'd call that, straight away.
That was a Facebook ad on school.
That's good. Bang, booked tickets now, so I did that, and me and the missus went and had a good night in INXS.
Yeah.
Quality band.
So what? Let me just stop that for a second. I love the ability to have a real-time focus group. What got you on that ad?
It was probably right time, right place. I had a kid-free weekend this weekend coming up when the event was on.
Yeah.
I like INXS.
Yeah.
My partner liked INXS back in the day. Probably showing our age a bit there.
No, it's great.
It was, you know, something to do. We were looking for something to do on the weekend. I hadn't had any plan for it. Right, bang, let's do it. So it was everything aligned.
Right.
But if it's something like that, you know, it's not a massive purchase from a cost perspective.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's easy for me to make decisions quick, you know. So that is one way I behave on Facebook.
Visually, what got you? Was it the logo? Was it the INXS logo? Was it an image of kind of like, obviously it's a tribute band, so it's not the real members of INXS.
Yeah.
But would it be like the way that it was laid out was very INXS?
Yeah, it was, and it had INXS tribute band. It was pretty more the wording, I think.
But everything was direct. You knew exactly what it was, the date. You knew everything.
The date,
really clear.
it was close to where I lived, so you know, it wasn't. I had to travel all the way up to Timbuktu to get there. And it was just easy, right? It was right place, right time, easy to purchase. Right. Book tickets now, bang. So I did it.
You didn't get advertised too, but awareness told you what you needed to know in the order you needed to know it, and then you made a decision.
You're right. And if it was a band I hated, I wouldn't have even.
Right. You wouldn't have.
Right.
Yeah, it could have been the greatest ad ever, but it doesn't.
The other way that I can be influenced by social media advertising.
Okay.
And again, I feel I mentioned this on here before, but. There was a face cream, and they must have done it. And they said, we want to target people in their 40s, potentially, in Perth, blah, blah, blah. And the advert has kept coming up like, make yourself look younger. Didn't respond to it. I don't need that. I look 25 or but I kept scrolling past it, you know, probably 10 times, 20 times, whatever. And then one time I stopped on it, because the creator probably appealed to me.
Sure.
A guy who was obviously older than me but looked a lot better than me.
Yeah, right.
That got my attention.
Yeah.
And then I had a few of those times where I wouldn't say engage with the advert, but I spent more time on the advert, and then I purchased a product eventually. So they branded me over time.
Oh, you ended up buying it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay, because that was interesting. Because the last time you talked about it, you didn't say you bought it yet.
I was in that buying cycle.
So that planted the seed, it did the thing it needed to do, and that's the point. You bought it in the end because it was awareness, it was the right thing at the right time.
Yeah.
Planted a seed, you didn't buy it at the moment, so you didn't click on the ad and then go directly to the conversion side, but it stuck with you enough where you were like, all right, next time I sit down, I'm going to buy this product. That's great.
Repetition as well, because I saw, I don't know, I should have really cooked the nut.
You get chased around by retargeting?
Yeah, they retargeted me.
That's the perfect storm.
Things that I know work for advertising and that I'm never going to fall for because I know how this stuff works.
Yeah.
I fell for it, did it. But, it's a good product and I'm happy. I'm not climbing on board it. But the point being there was an impulse buy, bang, do it straight away. And this one was more of a slow burn.
Right.
And they know that. They obviously know their target market, that most people aren't sitting down thinking, God, I need some face cream to make me look younger. Right. But they just keep targeting their target market.
Yeah.
People in there. I probably can't say middle age, can't I? Middle age. I still want to be under middle age, but middle aged people, men,
we're both in the same camp, man. It's totally fine.
And that worked for me. But then to move on to, I guess, Google AdWords.
Yeah.
Because for me, especially if you're a service-based industry like a plumber or electrician, Google is a place to advertise.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like
and SEO is huge for that as well.
Massive.
People who are searching for something specific, if they're saying like, plumber Perth or something like that, that's how people will search. They won't really search directly for a company's name.
No.
They'll just look for something around their area and they'll look for something that is directly what they need in that moment. Because they're going to I need an electrician because this happened, or I need somebody to fix my water heater because this happened. Then you're on the top of the list if you can get in front of them with Google Ads. And
exactly right. And I say to clients in regards to if I'm searching on it, if I'm at home on a Friday night and I search burst pipe, emergency plumber.
Right, yeah.
I'm not doing that because I'm bored.
No.
I'm doing it because I've got a
and you're also
go.
You're also going to click on the first thing you see. You're not even going to care about, and again, that's the funny thing about it too, is that when you have, I remember a really good example, and I had a tire blow. I think it was on my first day coming here, on my first day of the job, I had my tire blow. And it was really funny because this is one of those things that I do. You call me a geek for it. And
he's a geek.
Yeah. But I remember how easy it was to use this. I think it was like Mobile Tire. That was the yellow van.
Okay. Yeah.
But their website on my phone had to be exactly what I needed it to be to just make it quick, because I was freaking out because my tire. I think I got there was construction around my neighborhood, and I got a piece of iron or something got stuck in my tire and popped right through. And they made it so easy.
Yeah.
And I was able to book a service. They came over to the space that I was like stuck. They replaced my tire, and I got back to work.
Yeah.
In time.
Yeah.
But it was the website on my phone was so easy because they made everything like I needed to find quickly accessible right away.
Yeah.
And so it makes a huge difference when you were talking about the idea of like, you're going to grab the first thing you see, and the website look and feel is not going to matter as much as if you didn't have it as an emergency.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's more about paying attention to how do you make it easy for somebody. So if you say burst pipe in the middle of the night, you don't care about the look and feel of the website. You need to find information quick. You're like, what's the phone number? How do I get in touch with somebody? How do I get them out to my house?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So those are the things you need to pay attention to as well. It's like the look and feel is great for credibility, but people who are in distress, they don't care about your design anymore.
They're going to Google, help.
They need whatever's easy in front of them to be able to make those quick choices.
Mate, time flies, 13 and a half minutes.
Oh, wow.
We're going to have to wrap it up. As always, mate, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanker for making us look smarter than, or me smarter than I am, and all this input. And
it's what we do.
If anyone wants to chat more about marketing, obviously we'd love to hear from you.
Let us know.
The first 500 listeners can have a free digital consultation with PWD if you want.
Autographs from this guy. He does them. How much now?
I've kind of reduced my rate. It's a couple of $100 these days.
Hey, that's pretty good.
All right, guys, we'll stop boring. We'll see you next week. Cheers.